Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we start off, thank you for 150 subs. It really means a lot to me, and that's why I'm making this video. Now, my microphone's broken, so the sound quality might not be great, but let's just get on to the ranking. Starting off, this one might be a little bit controversial, but I really like it. It's Studio Series Devastation Optimus Prime. He's a small deluxe, but he does a lot of things right. Overall, I think he's extremely fun, even if he might not be the best. Now, the transformation is extremely fun, and it's not too difficult either. And I think it results in a pretty nice alt mode. Retro Carded Bumblebee is next up on the list. He is one of the best looking figures in my whole collection. All of the colours are on point to the Generation 1 cartoon, and the paint is very durable, which makes him extremely fun to handle. Now, the transformation does have parts forming, but I don't think it's too bad. Without this parts forming, maybe the rest of the figure wouldn't be that good. The alt mode is basically perfect, and it rolls extremely nicely. And that's basically all I have to say about this figure. He's just a fun little guy. Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime is so solid. The plastic feels nice. The paint feels nice. The articulation is really smooth, and all of the accessories are very good. The Matrix, for example, is painted extremely well, which, some other figures, they can be a bit messy. The transformation is also quite fun. It can be a little bit tricky, and the alt mode isn't for everyone. I personally really like it, but I know that a lot of people wouldn't. But yeah, it's a Cybertronian truck. BS-03 Cybertron Cavaliers is a knockoff of a third-party Optimus with new paint and new parts. The paint is basically perfect. It feels quite durable, although the application is very slightly messy in few areas. It reflects light extremely well, and it's so nice to look at. It actually has LEDs built into the heads and the gun. And if it's dark, those LEDs really look amazing. Although in the heads, sometimes they do tend to flicker a little. Transformers Prime Soundwave is just straight up fantastic. This figure means so much to me, because he was always one of my favourite characters in Transformers Prime, which is the show I grew up watching. And it's not just nostalgia speaking. This figure is actually very good. The articulation is pretty good, but I am unfortunately missing Laserbeak. The transformation is very simple, but very fun, and the legs can sometimes be a bit difficult to peg in, but the plane mode, I have nothing to complain about. This thing is perfect. And number 10 is G Creation Wrath Grimlock. I barely even know where to start with this thing. I mean, first of all, he looks pretty glorious if you like this design, but he's not the most fun to handle because of the design. Sometimes there's just random bits that you don't realize are sharp, and you're trying to handle the figure, just pose it, and he just kind of stabs you. Then the articulation is actually quite good for a figure this size, and he has an opening and closing mouth. I unfortunately could not show the transformation here because this thing is actually really, really big. So if you want to see a transformation of this guy, please look at another review, but it's a very nice T-Rex mode. Titan Class Metroplex is one massive figure. I couldn't actually get this in frame, and I'm very sorry for that. But there is him on my desk. He's just a chonker. He looks amazing, the accessory's amazing, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. Once again, I could not show this on camera for the transformation, because he is just too big. But despite the size, the articulation on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. The arms are amazing, he has an actual ab crunch, which most figures don't have. The hips get an insane amount of range, the head can move up and down really far, and the ankles are also amazing. Just to show you how big this actually is, here's him next to my cat, and my cat is a very long cat. Legacy United Tarn has an absolutely flawless robot mode. There's no other way of saying that. But that means that the transformation is slightly compromised, which means he's not higher on the list. But he just has a couple things that elevate him from being a good figure to an amazing figure. Like the different ways how you can put the accessories on him, or just the sheer amount of articulation he has. But then comes the transformation. It is not fun. Parts like to pop off and just don't align very well. It's relatively complicated, and it's just not that well designed. But then there's the tank mode, and this is a very nice tank. And I also really like tank warmers. It holds together very nicely. I just think it looks amazing from basically every angle. But unfortunately, it only has sculpted wheels, so this thing won't actually roll. This was a really tough one to rank. This is the 01 Studio Seed Primus. And the planet mode is amazing. And the robot mode is also amazing. But the transformation is a crime against Transformers fans. It's complicated, the figure's really heavy, things don't like plugging in. So that's the reason why I've only got it in planet mode for this. I simply didn't have time. When I turned it into planet mode, it took me 4 hours. And I don't want to do that again, because I need this for my stop motion series. If you thought the Metroplex earlier was a chonker, you have not seen Titan Class Omega Sentinel. I love this thing. It's so fun. The transformation is amazing. He turns into base, if you didn't know. And it's executed very well, and it still looks great in both modes. The articulation, it isn't the best, but it isn't the worst either. He comes with a Minicon though, and this does transform, but I can't really flip the Minicon port out because it's so tight. He has excellent light piping though, and that just makes the head sculpt 10 times better. Siege Jetfire does literally everything right. I don't really have anything to complain about, except for the QC. That really holds this figure back, because there's parts of the shoulders that don't really like staying together too much, and there's panels that are necessary for transformation, which are really tight, but that's basically the only negatives. He has an Autobot insignia that you can switch to the Decepticon, which I think is so nice. His hands can open and close, and he just feels extremely nice all round. This is another figure that has excellent light piping. But I couldn't show the transformation, because this is one chunky figure. There is one singular thing holding 01 Studio Overmind Unicron back, and it's not even a problem. It's the colours, because I tried to get the original version, but that was completely sold out basically everywhere. But I still like these colours a lot. They're just not quite as good as the original. And I'm starting to see the original colours slowly come back, but I really like this figure. He has an excellent head sculpt, and he has LEDs and an opening mouth, so I think that if you like the Transformers Energon colours, this is basically a perfect figure for you. In the third spot, who else could I have chosen but the legendary SS-102 Optimus Prime? There is also just a couple small things that aren't perfect with this, and the main thing is just the QC. So he has double jointed elbows, but one of the joints over time has just gotten a bit loose, and I don't know how to fix it. Other than that, this is one of the most enjoyable figures to mess with that I have. The transformation is extremely fun, but the truck mode isn't perfect. The back is extremely bad, but from the front, I think it's quite an excusable alt mode. And I mean, it is Optimus Prime, of course he's gonna have an alright alt mode. Studio Series 86 Megatron was my most anticipated figure of the year, and he delivers in every single way. He looks perfect, the articulation is very smooth, and everything works well. He's a tank farmer. I'm kind of okay with that. I prefer Gun Megatron, but because of legal reasons, they kind of can't really do that. The transformation is extremely fun, but also quite difficult, so it can take a little bit to get the hang of it. Once you have it though, it's an extremely nice tank mode. It does parts form a bit. I'm okay with that, because tank farmers basically always parts form, and we're just kind of used to that, and I don't think the parts forming is too bad anyway. In number 1 is the Metagate Haikyuu Drift. This is perfection in plastic form. If you are ever going to buy one figure, it should be this. The aesthetics are perfect. The articulation, some people don't like it. I think it's fine. It might not be hyper articulated, but it works very well for the character. The accessories are so good, and you wouldn't even know, but this is a triple changer. Anyway, those were my top 15 Transformers figures. Alright, bye.